in working with me in this Skype broadcast. I would dearly have loved to have been there in person with you today, but we're here in Washington, D.C. I'm taking important votes. But I first of all want to say thank you to Darla. Darla St. Martin, I've so enjoyed working with you and your daughter Michele over the years to put an end to abortion. And I'd also like to thank Carol Tobias and Dr. David Osteen for their leadership of the National Right to Life Committee. As all of you are gathered there today in beautiful Jacksonville for the 41st Annual Convention of the National Right to Life Committee, it's a vivid reminder to the nation that you are the oldest and largest pro-life organization that has worked tirelessly as you were formed just months after the Supreme Court's tragic Roe v. Wade decision in 1973 to end abortion. And since that awful ruling, the lives of over 50 million unborn children and the mothers of those children have been hurt as well. Those children were taken by abortion, but the mothers also have been hurt, as you know, by this terrible procedure. That's why it's so encouraging for me and for people across the country to know that so many of you are attending the convention today in Jacksonville to become better equipped as grassroots activists for the pro-life cause. And I'm only so sorry that I can't be with you to take back all the energy that I feel from you there in that convention hall. But this weekend, I'll be heading out to Iowa, where I was born and raised. And on Monday, I will formally announce my run for the presidency of the United States. In our nation's history, I'm convinced now more than ever that Americans are more than ready to make Barack Obama a one-term president. Those of us who believe that life begins at conception. From his act of overturning the Mexico City policy, which bans the use of your tax dollars to foreign organizations that promote abortion, from his Supreme Court nominees who were pro-abortion to his Obamacare legislation that opens the door for federal funding of abortion in this country, Barack Obama has upended some of the most common sense, long-standing, and widely accepted limits on abortion. We owe a debt of gratitude to people like Doug Johnson, whose tireless work for the National Right to Life Committee has clearly established that the President's signature legislation, Obamacare, something that I have worked tirelessly to oppose, does in fact authorize federal funding of abortion, even though a clear majority of Americans has consistently opposed the use of our tax money to pay for abortion services. Let me make this clear to all of you in Jacksonville. As President of the United States, I promise to you, I will repeal Obamacare. You can take that to the procedure that millions of Americans consider morally reprehensible, as they do today. Barack Obama has changed all that. As President, I assure you, I will restore that ban. And I will repeal funding for Planned Parenthood, and I will and not a cent of what you pay into the federal government in taxes will be used to fund abortion providers. That's the way it should be in this country. Now, good news. Just this past week in my home state of Minnesota, where Darla St. Martin is from, we got word that Planned Parenthood will close 6 of its clinics because of the cuts in federal Title X spending that was made in this Congress. But we need to forge ahead and do more, because the nation's largest provider of abortions should not be getting any federal money to help stay in business. But that's not all. I have a 100% voting record with the National Right to Life Committee, and I proudly plan to build on my record in the White House. This is not the time for Republicans to put up a presidential candidate who's weak on the pro-life issue, or who has a history of flip-flopping on it. We need a principled, constitutional conservative who believes what the Declaration of Independence said quite clearly, that life is among the inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, not by government. That great document goes on to say that the duty of government is to protect life. Just a couple of weeks ago, judges who issued decisions as though they had a free hand to rewrite the Constitution at their own will, that's wrong. And I assure you that I will advance and sign into law legislation that protects unborn children. And never forget, these children are capable of feeling pain from abortion. I'm very sad that there are fellow Republican candidates of mine who won't make the same commitment to you. This isn't a time for Republicans who have a record of being soft on social issues. There are indeed major economic problems in our country. That goes without saying. And almost daily we hear more bad news about the Obama economy. And the president's policy of leading from behind in foreign policy has been a tragedy. Just as leading from behind in economic policy has been a tragedy. And these are issues I'm talking about every day. But the importance of these issues does not for a moment mean that the life issue should take a back seat. It needs to be in the front seat. The President of the United States is job creation and spur economic growth, but I believe the President must also be able to stand on moral high ground to defend all human life from conception to natural death. And for years, I've stood with you at pro-life rallies and marches. I've advocated strongly for option, had the privilege of bringing 23 foster children into our home, along with welcoming our 5 biological children. And both my husband and I have hearts to preserve and protect human life. I have led the fight against abortion on the legislative front, and today I am here to ask you to help me take my strong, uncompromising pro-life record to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue and finally have a 100% pro-life president. Abortion is not a political football to be kicked around. It's not an issue about which politician should get away with saying one view and then practicing another. It's not a matter that should be offered with all sorts of qualifiers and conditions. What you want in a president is someone who is unquestionably 100% pro-life, and I am. Right to Life Convention have the right to look at my record and that of the other Republicans, so you can support the candidate who has an unmistakably clear track record on this vital issue. I need your help. I need your help as I seek the office of the presidency of the United States to make Barack Obama a one-term president. God bless all of you at the National Right to Life Convention in Jacksonville, and God bless the United States of America.